welcome to SoCal Surf with Dan Nappy. Looks like we're back in the water, Huntington Pier. South side, north side, the debate goes on. But today we went out and we paddled out on the south side first, and it was good, very good. Good size for me, head high, nice, pretty smooth, no wind. And then we were out there I caught one wave, and then there was a lot of people already, and it was we were pretty early. We left at about 5:30, got in the water by 6, and there was already a ton of people on the south side, and there was nobody on the north side. I think I saw one guy. So I thought, let's go to the north side because it's less crowded. So I paddled across underneath the pier, and sure enough, there was nobody there, one guy. And then so with our group, we had 3 with us today, and so just 4 people totally on the north side of the pier, and that went on for about an hour. And so we were catching just about any wave we wanted. We didn't have to look and see if anybody was even on it. We were spread out far enough that we weren't interfering with each other. And so that's what happened. The south side, a lot of people, and they're a lot more aggressive, and they have a very limited vocabulary. Everything starts with the F word. And in the middle, they use the F word, and at the end, they use the F word. So they are effing all effing day on the effing south side of the effing pier. So we decided to go to the north side. So, and again, the trick to going out alongside the pier is to go alongside the pier. If you are, you want to go right against the pillars, not where you can touch them, but as close as safety allows, and you paddle out close to the pillars. And we went out on the south side, and I didn't really have to duck dive a single wave because it doesn't really break along there on a day like today when it's only, shoulder to head high. And so if you paddle out alongside the pier, it's a lot easier. But then as you catch waves, we went to the north side of the pier, and I'm taking mostly lefts. And so when you take a left, you're about, 50 yards down the beach by the time you're done with the wave, and you could paddle out through the surf and duck dive, or you can get out of the water, walk up to the pier and paddle out alongside the pier, which is what Craig kept doing, and he would go alongside the pier to paddle out, which is, again, very easy. And so I would, after the long ride I got in to the inside, I decided that I wasn't going to do that anymore. So I would catch a wave, make a couple of quick turns, and then get out of it so I didn't have to paddle all the way back out. I call that the lazy man surfing. So I was just catching them left and right, mostly lefts. I had a couple of rights towards the pier, which is great because when you get done with that wave, you just get right into that channel next to the pier, and you can paddle right out real easy. And I think there's a bit of a drift, so the water is flowing out like a riptide, but not strongly, but enough that it helps you get out faster and easier. So just all in all, that's the best. And then when you take a left, you gotta, you could paddle towards the pier and then go out, or you can just kind of angle. I angled a couple of times towards the pier, about a 40% angle out and left. So it wasn't straight out, it wasn't straight left. So I made it to the easy section and paddled out. And then towards the middle, I was further down from the pier, so I was just paddling straight out and just trying to zigzag past the peak, because there were a lot of peaks where you could catch waves left and right, and there was waves breaking on the inside, just inside the dead zone, and on the outside, just past the dead zone. And there was a lot of times the waves would continue all the way through, so you could link the outside with the inside if you wanted a very long ride, which a lot of guys were doing. I tend to get out of it because I don't want to paddle all the way back out, but enough to get 2 or 3 turns in, and then just kind of lean out of there and start paddling back out. So really good day at the pier. Water was cold when we first went in. It felt really cold, and I thought to myself, what the heck happened? It was so warm. And then as the day lingered on, by 7 o'clock, the sun started to heat up the water, and you could feel little patches of warm. And then by the time we got out of the water at 8:30, the water was pleasant. So the water temperature this time of the year kind of fluctuates a little bit, but it's really, I mean, we're in the middle of June, so it's pretty much warm. So not warm like, Fiji, but warm for Southern California, which is in the 60s. Sometimes during the year we get up into the 70s, and that's very pleasant water conditions. Rarely does it happen, but it does happen. Mostly in the 60s in the summer and the 50s in the winter. 50s are harsh. And so we did some really good, I caught a lot of waves today, and usually at Huntington I don't catch as many as at some of the other breaks, but today I caught a lot of waves. Not a lot of people to compete with, for one, and number two, they were good size for me, so I didn't have to, paddle as far. And the takeoff area was smaller. When it gets bigger, then it spreads out more, and you have to paddle around a lot more. And plus, there was no current, a very little drift to the north, if any, and so you didn't constantly have to paddle to stay next to the pier. So that saved a lot of paddling power that I used to catch waves, and caught one good one. But then right after that, on the north side, I was paddling for a wave, and it came up quickly. I didn't see it coming. All of a sudden, it was there, and I turned and tried to catch it, but I didn't get my body positioned properly on the surfboard, and my nose was too low. And as I started to paddle, my nose went under, and it was a beautiful left, perfect. And I couldn't get in because my nose went under, and that kind of stalled me. And I tried to adjust my weight, but by then it was too late. The wave had passed me, and I was real sad that I missed that wave. I missed a couple of really good waves, and then I got some really good ones, so I'm not complaining. But there were some I really wanted. I just couldn't get to them. And then some big sets would come in occasionally. About every 16 to 20 minutes, a very big set would come in overhead. And if you weren't looking, you'd have to duck dive it. And if you were looking, you could almost get to it. I almost got to a couple of them, but just not quite in position to catch it. But it was pretty big, and I'm not even sure I wanted to catch it, but I was trying. And then most of them were shoulder to head high that we caught, and those were fast enough. And then my last ride, when it was time to leave, everybody was getting out of the water, and I'm trying to find my last wave, and it seems like every time I say one more wave, that last wave is impossible to find. But finally one came to me, and it was a really nice left, and it was a fast one, so I took off and dropped down to the bottom, and it was peeling already on the top to my left. So I tried to do a little speed, try to get a little speed out of my surfboard, and managed to catch up to the braking part, and did a really nice smooth, I call it like a Parko or a Jordy Smith turn, just a deep turn, very not so quick, but just really strong off the top, going to, from, I was going left, so I pulled to my right, and then across the bottom again, and then I did another really sharp turn, just kind of kicked it, from my back leg, just kicked it around and made a 90 degree or more, almost a 180, probably like a 150, I don't know. And then wave started to fizzle a little bit, so I laid down to keep into the wave. And then it reformed again, so I stood up and I did another bottom turn, and it was a short break, which you got to be careful, but it was still pretty far from the sand. So I went ahead and tried to pull hit it off the top and pull it back. But when I pulled it back, it didn't come back far enough, and the rail dug in, and I just fell. And then me and the board and the wave had a little tumble. But the water was deep enough that I didn't hit the bottom. So the short break can be treacherous, but I did okay on that little one. And I just caught a few little ones in, knee high, trying to get closer to the sand, because the tide was out mostly. It was coming in, but it was out. So perfect day. Could have been a little smoother. It was a little textured and choppy, but it was good enough. Perfect. So that's all. Great day at Huntington Beach. Good surf, good weather, nice and warm. No wind. Blue skies, blue water. Lots of people. Fun summer days. All right, see you in the surf. Keep in touch. Thanks for listening. Check out our sponsors, Task Bullet, nappyclothing.com. I'm not sure that Merch Hero is still our sponsor or not, but what the heck. Thanks for listening. Bye.